Houdini Sportswear burst on the scene in 1993. It makes outdoor gear that's built for performance and meant to last a long, long time with minimal environmental impact. We visit the Stockholm headquarters to find out how they're redefining consumer culture.
Nature for me is the most beautiful place to gain perspective, reflect, and take the best decisions. But it's also a place where you can just relax and be in awe of all the beauty that is out there. Bird song in the morning, this time of season when the spring is making everything green and everything is coming back to life. Just those little things are amazing if you think about it. But in our disconnected world today, sometimes maybe we don't reflect about that and don't feel the gratitude hitting us in our hearts. My name is Eva Karlsson. I am the CEO of Houdini Sportswear here in Stockholm.
My name is Malva and I work with regeneration at Houdini. When we start a design process, we have this designer's checklist. That's always the start. And we ask ourselves, does this product deserve existence? Will it age with beauty? Will it serve to our circular business models? And in the end, is it recyclable or compostable? At Houdini, if we cannot make business in this sense, there's no point of doing business. We have actually phased out 70% of our materials in the collection. And that's not because we want to have a new color or new shape or new fashion. It's because it didn't reach our standards. So the standards of that it's circular, that it's not toxic or PFAS free and so on.
For instance, moving from a fleece, which sheds microplastics, and engineering an entirely new group of fabrics that don't shed microplastics. That is merely meaningful innovation for us, and those products do have a place on the market.
This is the Lycan styles and the Lycan yarns. This is started with the idea to make a really, really breathable and warm mid-layer, but with no waste. So this yarn is actually built up out of two different yarns, so a feather yarn and a delta peak yarn. And then we're also working with our partner to actually knit a garment where we're creating no waste. Normally you cut out pieces of a fabric and there will be waste that needs to be recycled or, in worst case, in the industry thrown away. But with this one, we are just knitting the pieces that are needed, creating a no-waste garment.
If you're a customer of ours, you might want to come in and it might make sense to rent something and then buy it, or buy something reuse and add to that something from the rentals assortment because you're only going to use that particular garment for a week or so. So creating a seamless system that is where the customer decides on how to do it. That is what we designed when we did Houdini Circle. We decided to add wool to our range, merino wool base layers. But it took 4 years, because when you look at how modern day industrial production of wool garment, you dip wool in plastic polymers, you have chemicals that shouldn't be used for dyeing. It took some time to fix. But when we had done that, we had a really, really pure natural fabric and a pure natural garment. We hooked up with organic farmers and composted our first worn-out base layers there. So this is the first step. This is where you put everything in fresh. Food, waste, base layers worn out, and some different parts of nature, like brushes and organic stuff. And after a while, it has decomposed and it goes over to this. And now it's totally fresh. And finally, I don't know, I think the soil has now been moved to the... Yeah, but here you have
some soil.
Here's soil now that is ready for growing stuff in, and it's very potent. So it's not to use only that soil, but rather to mix it with old soil. So it's more like a fertilizer, but a natural one, of course. And some of that fertilized soil has been growing some of the early produce for this spring. So that's going to be part of the fine dining menu tonight. So it's a beautiful way of also portraying the symbiotic relationship that we can have with nature.
The dessert is the whole idea of this collab together with Houdini Sportswear today. And it's a very cool project which has been going on for a few years, but we actually have been using it in a circular procedure this year. So it's the textile compost which they have done by Teppan, which is now reinforcing our rubles for this season. So it's actually a better ruble than last season. But it's also telling the story about how we want to work and the way we work, but also continue working with different kinds of collabs.
XV Production is a microfactory and a design studio. Here we are doing the whole process. It's from design and product development, pattern making, the cutting process, and of course the production.
Our niche is making clothes out of clothes. So we are looking at shirts and discarded products and see what we can do to make them go into the market again. From different customers we get materials or jeans that has been overproduced, you can say. There's so much clothes out there in the world that we have to do something about.
We can also just do like the repair, or we make a whole new design. So from the jeans, we produced a new kind of style, and this is a corset, a top, and you can see the details here is still there, but we change the silhouette.
The silhouette.
Yeah. So this is one example of what we're doing here.
We have been developing our own production system within Remake, so it's of course a little bit different how you think about the pattern pieces and the measurement charts and the bill of materials. So in that process it's a little bit different from the traditional.
Yeah. So we make our own system for that.
My name is Mattias Bräck. I work at Science Park Borås. It's a Swedish School of Textiles and University of Borås. In Sweden, it's quite costly to have persons in the operation because the labor cost is much higher than in other countries. And we need to find automations to compensate for that. The purpose of the remake machine is to create a microfactory configuration example that companies could be interested in. This is something we want to do to raise the awareness of how to use automation together with textiles in a new way of doing business. We combine the conveyor system with an online e-commerce website. So when you put the garment into the conveyor system, it's automatically published as for sale. The first step in this machine is to photograph it and use vision technology and AI to detect the flaws of the garment. So it could be stains, rips, holes, missing trims or buttons. And then it's added to the e-commerce website. Then it's up to the customer to choose the next life of this garment. We're prepping the machine for a new company visit. So we reset all the shirts to its initial state, clear the buffers, as well as checking the machine's running. And we should go with the pink shirt, I think. So we're waiting for it. It's over there. Okay, so the pink shirt is lost. That's always the issue. Okay. This is where we load all the garments. We developed this garment for upper body garments, so you can have different hangers for other accessories or pants. And what we are looking to is, of course, optimizing the detection of the defects so we can utilize that in the information of the garment and maybe also the remake. We have 4 cameras just to get a complete reach of the garment. And that's also why we stretch it out. Identifies holes, rip, stains and missing trims. In this case, it's buttons.
So is it AI they see the pictures and...
Yeah, so it does 3 things. It does the detection, so it makes a list of all the faults. It makes a repair guide and also writes an add text in Swedish. You can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defects it's found. And one of the defects is actually a fat stain on the front, but it's hard to see.
Barely see it.
There it is.
Okay.
So you can see the defect there. Okay. So what do you think? Do you want to buy it?
Yeah,
we take it.
Take it? I think it's good, and you can take some of the mindset into even manual operations. So how are you working with unique garments?
Yeah, I guess that part would be the thing that would help our production the most.
Yeah.
To detect the flaws and see what the operations are. If it comes to like repair and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We want this type of processes to enable circular business models. Sustainable companies not only having a low environmental impact, it has also a good income. If you're a company that is circular 100%, there is no end to your company. If you're a linear business, then there is an end because the resources will end. So if you're a smart company, you start thinking about circularity now. Otherwise, you will go bankrupt in resources. It's simple.
I would like to have a legacy as a company where our sharing of knowledge and insights and our way of collaborating rather than competing makes a difference, so that we can create ripples and create this transformational journey that includes many more than us.